Hi everyone, this is Miss Jess from the Monroe Street Art Center, and I am so happy today to bring you guys some projects for our Inclusivity art kit. I'm super excited about this kit. I just think it's an especially good time right now to be really aware of how we're accepting each other, right? And loving each other, sort of spreading a message of love, inclusivity, and acceptance, right? So one of the first projects that we can make from this kit is people around the world. So this project focuses on people of color, right? There's people all across the world that have different colors of skin. Here in our neighborhood, here in our city, and across the world, right? And that's something to be celebrated. Our differences are what make us so beautiful, right? So for this project, we're thinking about all different types of people, right? Different hair, different clothes, different skin. And then we're putting them all across the world together because we're still all together on one planet, right? So for this project, we have a couple of really fun supplies we're gonna use. Inside of your kit, you're gonna find a circle sheet like this. It kind of looks like a coffee filter, and it is very similar to a coffee filter. This is called diffuse paper. What we're gonna do is turn this into our little planet Earth by using Crayola markers. So I just have a couple of colors here for my planet Earth, blue for water, green for land, or if you want to make a whole different planet, you can make a whole different planet, okay? So I'm going to use my markers today. You're also going to need a paintbrush and a water container because we're going to end up painting over our markers on this sheet of paper. And then a few other things we're gonna need from our kit. You're gonna find a little tiny outline of a little person. You can take this out. We're actually, since you only have one in your kit, we're gonna cut a couple extra more out of this one, kind of using it like a stencil. So inside of your kit, you're also gonna find kind of this like vanilla colored piece of cardstock paper. You can take that out too, because we'll end up tracing it and cutting out more people to put around our planet, okay? And then lastly, you will also need maybe your googly eyes if you want to end up sticking googly eyes on your little people. And then we have 3 different acrylic paints in our kit. One dark brown, a medium, and a light. These are for all different skin tones. And we can also mix other colors out of these 3 too. These are not the only 3 skin tones in the world, right? Okay, so first part of this project is to start with our circle. And actually, I'm gonna use my permanent marker, which you'll also have in your kit. Permanent marker means the only place we wanna use it is on our art project, right? We don't wanna get it anywhere else. So using my permanent marker, I'm gonna sketch out some land, right? I'm thinking about maybe the United States, maybe I'm thinking about South America. And if I don't know exactly what the shapes of these lands look like, that's okay. I'm just gonna try my best, right? Whatever kinds of lands you want on your planet Earth. Okay, maybe there's an island or 2 floating around here. So that's mine, right? I just used my permanent marker, sketch out some land shapes. Put your cap on when you're done, and now we're ready to color. Like I said, I'm gonna use green for my grass, blue for my water, and the trick to getting this to look really vibrant is to color really solid. So another trick that you can use with your markers, right? I just kind of colored mine in, and I'm using a tray here to just color mine on. The tip of your marker is really pointy, right? If you're drawing directly down from that tip, you're gonna get a lot of skinny scribbles, right? But if you actually use the side of your marker where it's flat, then you're gonna get a much broader stroke from your marker, like that, and you can color in space a lot faster. Just a little tip, right? You can mix colors up here. Consider that whatever colors you use, they might end up blending together once we go to add water to this. So if you have 2 colors that you don't want to mix, maybe don't put them next to each other. Okay, so I'm going really fast. Maybe I'll switch it up. I actually have 2 different greens here. Dark green and light green. Okay. Again, pretty solid. If I'm missing, like if I have a couple little white spaces in there, that's okay, as long as I get most of it colored. And now, of course, I'm gonna do blue from my water. So I'm just filling in all the empty space around it. And then the fun part comes after this, where we get to paint with water. Not too worried again if I go outside of the lines that I drew. My colors are gonna blend a little bit anyway. Okay, voila. Cap my marker up when I'm done. Okay, so now I'm ready to add water. I've got my cup, I've got my paintbrush, and while it's really nice and drippy, I'm gonna go ahead and let it drip right on there. I'm gonna spread it around and cover the whole thing in water. And it's gonna be really fun to do this at home because when you guys can see it close up, these colors are starting to spread. It creates a really cool like blooming effect with the water, right? So they kind of blend together. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish painting this. If you use just enough water to get those colors to blend, don't do any extra water that you don't think you need. It'll dry faster this way. This paper does tend to dry fast in general, but you do sort of need it to dry before you move on to add your people to your land, to your planet. Okay, one last little space. All right, let's hold it up and take a look. It looks so cool. It ends up looking like tie-dye. Okay, so that's the very first step. I'm gonna let that dry. I actually did one earlier today, so I have an example that is dry, because the next thing we're gonna do is add our little people. Here's a little Badger fan, right? Because we're all from Wisconsin, for the most part. All right, so here's this little guy that we've got in our kit, or girl, or whatever, tiny person. I'm just gonna sketch out a couple extra ones, right? So if I put this, I've got one spot left, I'm just gonna set it on my last open spot, trace around it, and then I can cut these people out so that I can use them. So go nice and slow, trace around. Okay. So now not only can I use this guy, but I've got 4 others, so I have a total of 5 little people I can use on my planet. All right, I'm gonna take a pair of scissors and cut these out, and then we'll talk about kind of how we want to decorate these little guys. So I've got one guy, and just for the sake of making just a shorter video for you guys, I'm only gonna go ahead and decorate 2. But you can make as many as you want. If you have another piece of paper at home that you want to cut out like 10 or 12 different people, you absolutely can, okay? So for this next part, this is when I'm gonna use my little things of acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is a little tricky to get out of clothing, so just think about the space that you're setting up for yourself here. I'm gonna use the back of this as a scrap. So with my little people, I'm gonna pop these off, and these are my different skin tones. I can use them straight out of the container, or I can mix them up and make a new skin tone if I wanted to. I've got 1, 2, 3. If you want these to dry really fast, which I do because I want to decorate the rest of my little person, you're gonna want to spread your paint nice and thin. So I'm gonna dip my brush in, right? And then paint the little face part. Back and forth. If you've got globbies, spread them out so that they dry. Okay, if I wanted to, I could even do the little hands or the little feet, maybe if they're not wearing shoes. So I'll do the little hands. There's 1, 2. Maybe this person doesn't have shoes on. They're barefoot, it's summertime. At least it feels like summertime this week. Okay. I'm gonna rinse my brush off, and I'm gonna do, maybe my next person has a different color skin tone. So I'll rinse it off, rinse, rinse, rinse. Got a paper towel here to get any extra paint hiding in my brush. Dip it in my next color. And spread it across. I'll get those little hands too. Now, you can use any art supply you want to decorate the rest of your person. I'm just gonna use my Crayola markers. So now that I've got my little guy ready to go here, I'm gonna give them some clothes. Maybe if this is a Badger fan, I'm gonna do some red. Give them a red sweatshirt with a big W on it. If you aren't sure if your paint is dry enough yet, I always do a finger check. So you can just swipe the face. If you get a little brown or whatever color you used on your finger, it's probably not quite dry enough yet. Give it a little bit more time. Seems like mine is almost there. Okay. So like I said, you do have some googly eyes inside of your kit. If you want to stick these on, just use a glue stick, right? Put a little bit of glue on the back. I think I'm going to give this person, ooh, I've got 2 blue ones. They're gonna have blue eyes. Take my glue stick. I'm gonna scrape a little chunk of glue off the back and add my googly eye. 1 and 2. Okay. And then, let's see, where did I put my marker? I can use my markers to add details. So if this person is wearing a little Wisconsin Badger shirt, I can draw, oh, the eyes got screwed up. There we go. A big W, maybe a big smile. They're happy it's game day. Okay, there's my little person. And then when you're ready to add them to your planet, you're just gonna put glue on the back of their feet. So I'll flip it over here, use a glue stick, glue both of those little feet, like these. And then I'll find another place on the planet for this little guy, for this little person. Ta-da! Okay. So have fun with this project. I can't wait to see all the different people you guys can come up with. And then, yeah, have fun, right? Set up a space that you can get a little messy because it is going to be a little wet and you are going to be using acrylic paint. Enjoy.